Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deepbluerenegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 185, I believe. It is Saturday, June 3rd, 2017, and I'm glad you could join me today. So, I'm super duper excited. I got my new webcam, and I am like, the color might not be any better, but like, having 4 times the resolution, totally awesome. So, I don't know, hopefully this will make for a better experience for you guys. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. So, yeah, I'm not too sure about the color. This might be the last episode inside for a while. We'll see. Right now, my husband and his friend are welding a fish tank stand in the driveway. So I decided it was going to be a little loud outside, and it's looking very ominous. So we shall see. But well done. So I said I was going to record today, but it turned out the wedding is at 7. So it was whatever. I could deal with that. Let's see. We'll start with a finished object today for fun. I finished another one of these Seedling Dreams hats. This is a Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Speaks pattern. And I knit it out of the Red Heart Soft and other various acrylic in my stash. So there's some Vantage Joyce, the green from the previous hat, and so the red and yellow is Karen Simply Soft. And I have no clue what the blue is. But there is the hat. So one weird thing about the webcam is that it has like this blue light to say that it's on, so it's making things look a smidgen blue. But oh well, whatever. Now I made this one super slouchy because I wanted to use up as much of the brown as possible. So that was pretty cool. And so you can see super slouch. And actually this is like strangely, I don't know, this I guess is a little bit lighter than my hair, but whatever. So I figured it was pretty cute. It's I think it's unisex. I think a guy or a girl could rock this. And then I made a much thicker brim than the last time so that you can still wear it all beanie style with it doubled over, but then it's long enough that it's still appropriately doubled. So there's that. So that was good fun. What would it be? I spaced out the little, my little colorwork bits a little bit farther than the last one. So that made for maybe a little bit more awkwardness in the decreases. You know, like, totally dreadful. Oh, and then the cute detail I did on the top was I actually did my last round in the red. So I thought that looked pretty cute. So you can sort of see a comparison between the two. So whatever, it's variations on a theme. I did the same style decreases on this hat too because it just seemed to work better as the little turn a square style. So oh, I forgot to weigh this, so I'll have to do a stash dash update. But this one is, what would it be, a good deal bigger than the other one. So I managed to hit 9 inches before starting the decreases. And then this style, this like turn a square style decrease results in a good bit of height on top of that even. So, but, woohoo! So another one that I will weigh it and then count the yardage for whatever my Red Heart was. What a weird yarn. Like, if you look at it funny, it just sort of like disintegrates and unplies. It's whatever. Use it all up. Try to break the ends as little as possible when it comes to that brown. Oh my goodness. So, but done. Let's see. The other thing, or what is it? So I did start my third hat. There we go. Get some good coffee drinking in there. So I did start my third hat. So this third hat is going to be white. And this is my Vanish Choice white from the Turtle Cozy. And then I have 4 small balls that are going to be incorporated into it. And I have a sneaking suspicion this is the yarn for my first scarf, because I'm weird like that. So it's Red Art Super Saver. So what I have here is a gray, which is actually a wool. It's not an acrylic. That was actually my third knitted thing, was the commission, oddly. And then I have this black guy, and then I have a little bit of this blue variegated, this sort of variegated dark blue. So they're gonna be like nice and super contrasty on this white. So bring it closer. So shades of blue. Losing things. So that should be fun. I'll probably alternate the blues. And I decided to do the white hat next because this pink guy, I'm not sure is going to be enough. So I wanted to also incorporate white into this one. So this is going to have pinks and purples. It's going to be super girly. But I think I needed like a little bit of assistance. So I might do the brim of this one in the white and then the hat itself in the pink or something. It needs something. Whatever. Like I had like the crazy hat knitting Jag of Doom before I could read a pattern, and so like it doesn't look like I'm gonna go the distance on the pink in the same way that I was able to do with the brown and the green. But they're turning out super cute. I'm gonna continue knitting little Seedling Dreams pattern. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice change of pace to do like the 2x1 ribbing, so I find that to be fun. Based on the size of my balls, what would it be? I might end up doing the more spaced out version, though it does look super cute with the super dense version. Like, it's not totally necessary. So not too crazy. Let's see if I can decompress things. So I put everything in bags to bring up here to talk to you guys about. And then you're like, what? Like, why in the world do I have a blanket? I'll get to it. But we had some squishing going on. So I have about this much left of the brown, which I don't think is enough for another Seedling Dreams style hat. Whatever, such is life. And then I still have a decent amount of the green and red still, but I have barely anything left of the blue and yellow. Like, I could have done too much more with these guys, so these guys will get thrown into the piddling bit of acrylic stash that I have left, and we'll just call it good, because who knows? You never really know when you just need like a little smidgen of something, so I don't tend to throw it out. I just find ways to slowly use it all up. So that's the start of the hats. I'll put the blanket back on the ground for now. Alright, so I did get some progress on the Found Your Fade this week. What was it? For some reason I was more in the mood for the hat knitting than the fade knitting for whatever reason. So I've now started to incorporate the Rainbow Unicorn Glitter Fight, which is a Cyber's Craft Room yarn. And then I still have oodles of this Oakland Wild Socks, I think, and what I consider to be sort of a sky blue color. Unfortunately, my computer still wants to fall asleep. Doesn't it know it's recording? So I was optimistic Thursday and like brought this with me for some knitting and totally didn't need it. But I did make it on Friday, so whatever. It was good fun. I managed to get halfway through the color melting portion, so that was fun, and it's like super duper punchy, so the yellows and pinks really pop on this bad boy. And it doesn't look like you can get the full effect, but it does look like the blue colors are turning out fairly normal on this guy, so far so good. I forgot to mention last week that I did put in a progress marker, which I just left here, but this is how much, or what is it? So this is how much progress I've managed to make on this bad boy from 2 weeks. So I can now move my marker gently. So I can now move my marker, woo, so that we can now have like a little progress tracker nonsense on here. We'll just do that one. That should be fun. So, whatever. We can now be like, haha. So, whatever. So 2 weeks ago I was in my Alicia Goes Around, and now I am almost done with my biggest color, and now it's all downhill from here. So, got my point, still coming out fairly nice. This is gonna be like a total monster. Like, this long edge is just like so totally insane. So we're now longer than my wingspan, but it should be super duper gorgeous. So we're around the downward slope now, so that's a good thing. So 5th color is in, we're good to go. So I don't know, I've been enjoying it. I was like a little leery about, I don't know, like I love the color, but when I was seeing like all this like slow blues and greens, and then be like, yellow! But it's fun. It's a really great yarn, so I'm excited about it. It's totally, this guy is totally, you know, that, it's a shawl fingering weight, it's not a sock fingering weight, you know what I mean? So I'm really glad I found a really good pattern to incorporate it. My Alicia Goes Around, that's a sock fingering weight, it could handle it, but the Cyborg's Craft Room, so looking pretty good. I took a couple of pictures today for Instagram just so as the light was good, and I was trying to get some good shots of the colors, because I think as long as I'm recording up here, it's going to be a little shaky. I think the next step would be to try to get some sort of like lighting in place, so we'll see about that, and how it goes and that sort of thing. So I think it would require light and diffuser, so I'm not quite sure how I would implement that, but oh well, we'll figure something out. But Massive Shawl of Doom continues. Good mindless knitting, does require that like small bit of attention though, so it's not, sadly it's not in the dark knitting. You would think all that garter it would be, but the fact you can't put a marker where you really need a marker, annoying. But it does give that nice line, so you deal with it. Okie doke. So, the next thing is spinning. So, I did show you guys last week, I think, yarn on a bobbin. I managed to apply another thing and wash them both, so that was cool. The yarn I was showing you on the bobbin is this guy. This is my Nest Superwash Merino Silk in super duper saturated red. And so this is a 3-ply. I wrote this down, so I should probably actually, if we can find it, not too bad. Alright, so this is 560 yards here, and then my mini was 62 of a chain ply, and together they weigh 5 ounces. Whoopsies. It turned out that when I got this fiber, I accidentally got 5 ounces instead of 8 ounces. So Jen of Nest is going to be sending me another 4 ounces of this so I can finish my sweater spin. But whatever, we had a discussion about it, and I was like, hey, I think this is a mistake, and she's like, yeah, totally, I'll send it with your June package. So nice. I know, so I'm so happy about that, that it was easy to get fixed, because oh my gosh, like I knew it had come in one bag, so when I messaged her, I was like, hey, this was only in one bag, and I have 5 ounces, and she's like, yeah, I would only put 5 ounces in one bag. So, and then I have this guy, which you can see the size difference, because it was like, it's like softly small. Because it wasn't 4 ounces. It wasn't 8 ounces, this is 8 ounces. Ah, it's like the size of your head. So, these are going to be combined into a little bit of loveliness, so pull that back, I think, a little bit. So really gorgeous, really happy with how everything's turning out. And so then this red is going to pick up the red in here and sort of make it pop a bit more, I believe. So I spun the red a little bit finer than I think that combo spin I did, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. And then this chain ply skein is pretty much leftovers from a single bobbin, and it is super duper fine, so I'm going to try to avoid using this one if I can, because it is sort of ridiculous. I guess I got into a groove on one of those and it was faded. It was different, but whatever. So super glad about how this is turning out, and then this is my little chain ply of the variegated. So I think I did make a good choice with bringing in the blue. So I know it is a lot of fun. So I think it makes it a bit less Christmassy that way, because the variegated picked up like, or the combo spinning it with the blue sort of tamped down a bit on the browns and greens in the skein, which I'm perfectly happy with, because otherwise it's a little Christmassy for what I was trying to go for. So we'll see how it goes. So excited about that. So that will, I suppose I could just, I'm going to have a hard time putting this on my hand spun shelf because it overfloweth. I was hoping to be able to start a sweater soon, but the prospect of having a fresh dye job, I'm going to have to alternate the red, and the red is going to be the first color. So, and maybe they'll both be super ridiculously saturated anyways, but I didn't want to deal with it. So, the good news is that I'm going to have 9 ounces of the red instead of 8, so that'll be helpful. Oh, that was such a bad idea. It's not even funny. Okay. It's staying contained, so we're good. Oh, silliness. So, that was the first thing. So that was like 620 yards of that. And then the other thing I finished was the greenwood fiber alpaca silk. Let's see. So greenwood fiber works. So there we go. So pretty cool. And this is my finished skein. So I picked the wrong picture. Alright, so this is 646 yards of a 2-ply out of 4 ounces, so it didn't turn out to be the finest spin I ever did do. It was hard fought, that's for sure, but it wasn't like totally ridiculous. So, super fine. What would it be? Unfortunately, the alpaca does have some guard hair action going on, so that ends up making it have a little bit more prickle factor than I would have preferred. But we'll see. Oh, that color is like so many different types of wrong, it's not even funny. So this is shades of green and blue and white with this like black wash over it, with some like occasional bits of blips of white from where whatever. I think there was a section or sections that weren't dyed to give it sort of more of a gray tint. But this is just like totally fooling the camera. It's showing up much more green than I would have expected it to. So it may only make sense once it's knitted. I'm thinking it needs to be something lacy. That was my intent when I was spinning it. So it came out as a heavy lace. I was hoping for more, but whatever, such is life. There were some sections that were like heartbreakingly, ridiculously fine, so I did do a little bit with trying to make that work on the ludicrous ratio. And perhaps I shouldn't be so hard on myself, because silk sort of has this way with the grist, which just seems to eat up your potential yardage gains, so the fact that it is spun fairly tight, I think, makes that more challenging. But very cool where the colors collided too, though. So I find that to be very interesting. So we'll see if we can get it to focus. Closer. Maybe. It looks like it's more in focus back here. I'm not sure though. I know, that's totally coming out green, and there is some green into it, but it's very foresty. So, yay. I don't think I've posted a finished picture of this bad boy. It did end up being fairly even. Should be fun to knit with. It'll be a nice adventure. So, interesting how that worked out. So, that is done ahead of schedule, which is good. Not sure if I'll participate in another spin along for the coming, what is it? For the coming quarter. I don't know, they haven't announced what their next one's going to be, so if we hold it down here, yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's actually showing it off properly, so very cool, very, very subtle. isn't really my normal thing, but it's cool. Not what I would normally pick for myself, but I found it to be very pretty, so here it came. So, with this, minus the brown hat, I have 3,000 yards for stash, or 3,000 meters for stash dash. So the hat will bring me a smidgen more, but definitely have a very strong start for the stash dash. Definitely appreciating that my 5-ounce spin was worth at least half of that. So the singles counting, whatever, makes it easier to decide to apply something. So I appreciate that, because a lot of the work, most of the work of spinning is the singles anyways. So I'm glad about that rule change. Speaking of 3-ply, here is my current spin. This is Southern Cross Fiber. Australian dyer named David. I think his shop is on hiatus right now. And this is the Desert in Bloom colorway. It's 100% BFL. Isn't that Australian Shepherd like super cute? So it's 3.9 ounces. Because we're measuring like Europeans with grams. And it has these like purplish burgundy, these reds, this lighter brown, this darker brown here, and then even some sort of like peachy brown at the color transition. And this is actually my second ply. Here is my first ply. So you can see more of the sort of peanut buttery brown on this bobbin here. And I am spinning this like my fail yarn, but this time I'm not going to fail. I know the instructions now. So this is my Z-ply. That guy, I'm spinning S. And then I have some more fiber. And I split it up for fractal because I'm a fractal fiend. So this is how much I have left to do on my second ply. So you can see here the color progression from peach to red to darker back again on this guy. And then I'm just connecting them end to end, so I'll start from this end for this ply. The other one I did it just in the order I ripped it in. And then this is the remaining third. So this one's going to be my long color repeat one. So, and I'll do this, I think, end to end, going with the finest direction I can, because there's always the danger with these thicker pieces that you end up spinning thicker as well. So I didn't want to deal with that. So that's coming along nicely, having fun with that spin. I'm glad this is my first time using Southern Cross. My mother-in-law bought it for me in D-Stash, so I appreciate that, because she's a sweetheart. And that will be for socks. I have one more BFL left in my spin bin, which I'm going to try doing the cable ply for that one. That's going to be super duper gorgeous. So I'll be spinning that on the ludicrous ratio, and we'll see how it goes. Because when I spin one up from the ludicrous ratio, like the crazy ratio, that's a good, what is it? A good one for hitting fingering weight 3-ply. So I need to go more ludicrous. So then if I'm spinning it as fine as this, I'll do it. It'll work. So, because I'll effectively, whatever, have to have 1,200 yards of singles to get the sock yarn I want, as opposed to, or I'll need 1,600 yards of singles to get the sock yarn I want. So it might even have to be a little bit finer than that even. It may mean I might need the even more ludicrous, the very fast flyer, which is an option for the Lendrum that I never thought I would need. Well, to be fair, I've also spun cobweb singles on my normal ratio, so whatever. Some of it may just be your amount of patience and how much twist you want to get in, so I draft crazily. So, what I have all over the place in my continued evil plan for Stash Dash, and perhaps I'll need to, do a bit of convincing as well, but I am on a repair kick right now. So these are my death socks. They're from 2 years ago. This was yarn from the Mega Sal, and what would it be? I needed to repair these guys because they had received very small holes, which is crazy making. So I've repaired one of them, but I still have some places to fix on this guy. And I don't know, I want to be able to wear them again. They're hand-spun socks. I was pretty crushed when I found out these guys had gotten holes, because it was like crazy making. So I want to fix those. My first SKUs, have like this stupid hole on the top of the foot. I don't know if there's anywhere else that's a little funny, but I want to fix up that so I can continue happily wearing my SKUs. I think pretty sure that's the only wonky spot on that one. My Socks That Rock, so I only have one pair of Socks That Rock, and they're actually Sport Bike socks. And they were the first socks to get a hole, so I just sort of like tied it. But if I'm going to be fixing a bunch of socks, like, I want them all good to go. And for the most part, they're actually holding up fine. They faded a bit in the washing, but not totally dreadful. I don't know if these ones are actually worth fixing, but they might count better for fixing, because I did blow out a heel on this one. So this is my third or fourth pair of socks. My first pair are totally dead. My second pair is still going strong. My third or fourth pair has already been tossed because I blew up both heels in the same day. So it might be worth fixing these, or there just reaches a point at which it's not worth it anymore. And it may just be at that point, because it looks like it's almost like curled under itself. I don't even know if I can fix them. These guys might just be dead. They faded tons, unfortunately. So these used to be like a super bright, vibrant pink, and now they have more in common with gray. But, oh well, such is life. These are my Jaywalkers, so this is out of Regia. And I've had a hole on the, I don't know how it is I get holes on the top of the foot, but I do. This one is going to require a little bit more work to fix, so I think this one will totally be worth it. I don't think there's anything wrong with the other guy, though. Yeah, should be fine. And then I have this guy here, and there are all sorts of random things up with these guys. They had ended up on top of my dresser, so I think this was an indication that the Dear Sweet Lovable one wanted them fixed. This is calling it Jitterbug. It is 100% merino, and these are all smooth hexagons, so I guess I decided to do that. But, oh yeah, this is going to be a challenge. So there's quite a lot of nonsense going on there. I'm not sure what happened here, but it's going to need a lot of love to bring this back. But I don't want to knit more hexagon socks. Like, he really likes them, but they are a pain in the ass. So, yeah, there are a couple of places on this guy that are funky. So, but it needs to get done, so it'll get done. And I think these guys would totally count enough for that. And then I have these guys, which I've fixed before, frustratingly, and then immediately after fixing them found more problems, so they've just been sitting up here waiting. So this was the spot of sadness there, so I'll need to pull out some of the red, I think, to get that. But then I think after I get that, it'll be alright. Pain because it's in the color work, but it doesn't look like anything really bad happened to it. I think it's just that spot. So that needs some fixing. And then it's really crazy making. So you guys know I'm not a blanket knitter. My knitting group knew I wasn't a blanket knitter, and they knit me a wedding blanket. So this has been around for 5 years now. And there are now a couple of places that need to be fixed on it. So they gave me the spare yarn because they're awesome. But it needs some love. There are a few places, probably like 5, that need to be repaired on it. And it's like the single cut kind, so you can see right there that isn't supposed to be there, so I will need to do some repair on this guy as well. But it was just like such a sweet gesture. Like, I really want to be able to keep using it for years to come. So, like, look at this. This is ridiculous. Like, so much knitting, so much love. Like, it needs to have a long life. So this is also on the list to be fixed because it needs to happen. So I'm using stash dress as an excuse to, like, get all of the stinking mending out of the way because it needs to be done. I guess I need to exclude these because I just don't even want to. It's over. They're dead to me now. These other guys, I think it's all very doable. So it needs to happen. It needs to get done. So maybe it's not sporting to count a blanket I didn't even knit a stitch on, but it needs to happen. So I may end up trying to work out a deal with Laura and, like, take a picture of the giant pile of mending that needs to occur, because, and maybe it doesn't count for points, I guess that isn't the end of the world, but it seems like a decent excuse as any in order to get my butt in gear for fixing them. So probably after I'm done with the podcast, I'm gonna start going through, probably with the blanket, because the blanket needed the most help. I'm going to sort of lay it out on my black mat and call it good. So that's sort of there. So I'm showing you guys because hold me accountable, because it's a chore mending. Like, you don't normally show it on the podcast and be like, oh, look at all the cool, like, I saved it. Like, no, you don't normally see that, but it needs to happen. So I'm showing it, so I'm accountable. You know what I mean? I think that is actually everything for this week. It sounds like they're still welding outside, so oh, silliness. So what I'm gonna do is take a picture of all of the stuff I just showed you, so that whatever. I can also get Instagram accountable as well. And go from there. So it should be entertaining. What is it? I probably have like a little bit longer before I actually have to like get ready for wedding shenanigans, but that shouldn't be too terrible. That'll be good fun. And I'm drawing a blank right now, so we're gonna call it good. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.